Welcome to our annual celebration of Black History Month. We usually have a campus assembly at Costa Auditorium with upwards of 900 to 1,000 students attending with their teachers. As you may already know, Black History Month began in February 1976 by then President Gerald R. Ford. February was chosen as the month to commemorate the birthdays of President Abraham Lincoln and abolitionist Frederick Douglass. The poem, set to song, Lift Every Voice and Sing, written by James Weldon Johnson in 1899, became a February national anthem originally sang by 500 students as a dedication to Lincoln's birthday on February 12th, for the nation to symbolize thankfulness and freedom of Black lives. You may have recently heard this same poem or song at the 2018 Coachella Weekends 1 and 2, sung by Beyonce, or at the 2021 NFL Super Bowl, sung by Alicia Keys. We are proud to continue this tradition of Black History Month here at Costa every February since 2014. This year is our virtual effort to keep this tradition alive and well until we are together again in person. And now, let's listen to the voices of Costa.
Good morning, Mustangs. Dr. Dale here. I'm honored to talk about my inspiring Black scholar. Her name is Dr. Ella Flagg Young, and she was an educator in the early 20th century. Born in the late 19th century, she didn't start school until she was 10 years old, but through hard work, determination, grit, diligence, she educated herself all the way to the University of Chicago, where she received a PhD in education. She studied under the famous John Dewey. He was her dissertation chair, and her dissertation was called Isolation in Schools. And I read it when I was doing my dissertation, and it really inspired me and gave me direction on my course of study. After her getting her dissertation in around 1905, 1906, she became the first female and the first person of color to serve as superintendent of public schools in Chicago. And she retired in 1915, and tragically, shortly thereafter, and ironically, she passed away in the pandemic of 1918. So another connection to us in the present day. But I find her to be incredibly inspiring, and I still read her book even now, and I've read it several times. So Dr. Ella Flagg Young, please look her up. I want to thank Janet Allen, the Diversify Our Narrative group, Black Scholars Union, and all the Costa students who have worked on this project and this video project. Black history is all of our history. We should all work together to celebrate these inspiring scholars and the inspiring leaders. So good work, everybody. Great job. Go Costa. Thank you.
Hi.
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 We are Diversify Our Narrative.
Diversify Our Narrative.
Diversify Our Narrative.
The student-led initiative working with teachers, administrators,
Alumni, and the school board to diversify curriculum and promote diversity on our campus.
February is Black History Month. As we dedicate this month to the history of Black Americans,
it's important to remember that Black history is American history and something that should be talked about in our school all year long.
Today we're going to be spotlighting two modern Black heroes who are shaping movements towards equality, representation, and unity.
They are Amanda Gorman and Stacey Abrams.
Stacey Abrams is a politician, lawyer, voting rights activist, and author who served in the Georgia House of Representatives from 2007 to 2017.
She founded the Fair Fight Action, which is an organization that addresses voter suppression.
Fair Fight Action was integral in getting people of color registered and out to vote in Georgia in this past election.
Voter suppression has been a long-standing issue in America, especially for Black Americans.
Her work in Georgia helped register over 800,000 new voters.
Thanks to the success of her grassroots campaign, Abrams helped Jon Ossoff and Raphael Warnock become Georgia's new senators, shifting the balance of power in the United States government.
It is reported she is planning to run for governor again. If she runs and wins, she could be the first Black and female governor in American history.
Another modern Black hero is Amanda Gorman. She's a poet and an activist. Her work focuses on issues of oppression, race, feminism, and marginalization.
Gorman was the first person to ever be named National Youth Poet Laureate and recited her poem, The Hill We Climb, at the 2021 presidential inauguration.
Amanda Gorman believes in the power of poetry as a means of reconciliation at a time of polarization
and as a way to make one's voice heard. She is representation for young women of color everywhere and proof that our voices matter.
Hi, my name is Jen Ahmed, and this is Hannah Gideon,
co-presidents of Diversify Our Narrative. Thank you for watching.
Please go home and have these conversations about Black history
with your family, friends, and peers. Change begins with us.
Hi everyone, I'm Mr. Pestle and I am a vice principal here at MiraCosta. I'm going to be reading one of my favorite poems by one of my favorite poets in honor of Black History Month. This is Harlem by Langston Hughes. What happens to a dream deferred? Does it dry up like a raisin in the sun, or fester like a sore and then run? Does it stink like rotten meat, or crust and sugar over like a syrupy sweet? Maybe it just sags like a heavy load, or does it explode?
Hi, I'm Sydney Burns, and I'm the president of BSU, and I'm a senior.
I'm Serenity Thomas. I'm vice president of BSU, and I'm a senior.
I'm Sierra Pickering, and I'm the treasurer of BSU, and I'm a junior.
I'm Amina Campbell. I am secretary of BSU, and I'm a sophomore.
And this is the poem, Too Black by Kenneth P. Philadelphia. They take my kindness for weakness. They take my silence for speechless.
They consider my uniqueness strange. They call my language slang.
They see my confidence as conceit. They see my mistakes as defeat.
They consider my success accidental. They minimize my intelligence to potential.
My questions mean I am unaware. My advancement is somehow unfair.
The voice concern is discontentment. If I stand up for myself, I am defensive.
If I don't trust them, I am apprehensive.
I am defiant if I am separate.
I am fake if I assimilate.
Character is constantly under attack.
Pride for my race makes me too Black.
Thank you.
My name is Miss Fields, and in honor of Black History Month, I wanted to tell you a little about the Nicholas brothers who have influenced my tap dancing since I was little. Bayard and Harold Nicholas, known as the greatest tap dancers of their time, delighted audiences with their spectacular choreography and daring moves. They are credited for opening doors that had previously been closed to African Americans in an entertainment industry entrenched in racism and segregation. I'm grateful that I had Black artists to look up to growing up, so thank you, Nicholas Brothers, for being trailblazers in a tap dance world.
For Black History Month, I wanted to share a poem by Lucille Clifton, Won't You Celebrate With Me? To provide a little bit of background about who Lucille Clifton was, she was an incredibly prestigious and well-regarded Black poet. She lived from 1936 until 2010. She studied at Howard University and at the State University of New York, Fredonia. She was discovered by Langston Hughes, an incredibly noteworthy and famous figure from the Harlem Renaissance, who many juniors have no doubt studied in their own English classes. She's published 2 books of poetry that were selected as finalists for the Pulitzer Prize in Poetry and won the National Book Award for a collection of her poems from 1988 to 2000. Won't you celebrate with me what I have shaped into a kind of life? I had no model. Born in Babylon, both non-white and woman, what did I see to be except myself? I made it up here on this bridge between starshine and clay, my one hand holding tight my other hand. Come celebrate with me that every day something has tried to kill me and has failed. Now, I wanted to talk about this poem specifically because there is a call to other people to engage in kind of a unified celebration of a specific individual. And yet there's a recognition of the historical obstacles that Black people, Black women in particular, have had to face over the course of history. And yet it's a call to recognize those difficulties and those obstacles while still valuing, uplifting, and finding the hopeful aspects of a potential future where we can unify and see the recognition and humanity behind each individual.
Janet Jackson. Having sold more than 100 million records, Janet Jackson is one of the world's best-selling music artists of all times. Her songs have been known to be innovative and socially conscious during changing times. She holds the record for the most consecutive top 10 entries in the U.S. Billboard Top 100 Singles chart by a female artist with 18 consecutive entries. Growing up, I remember how she could hold her own in the ever-competitive world of rock and roll, R&B, and hip-hop genres. I appreciate all her talent that paved the way for many female performers to follow. Music is the window to my life journey, a window that started with Janet Jackson.
When I was 17, I did what people told me. With what my father said and let my mother mold me. That was so long ago, 'cause when control, never gonna stop. Control, take what I want. Control, I'd like to have it all. Control, now my all corrupt. First time I fell in love, I didn't know what hit me. So young and so naive, I thought it would be easy. Now I know I've got to take control. Now I've got a lot control to get what I want. Control, never gonna stop. Control, now I'm all grown up.
The murders of George Floyd, Breonna Taylor, and countless other innocent Black people in America not only led to a reemergence of a global Black Lives Matter movement, but it also forced us, as a country and as a community, to think critically about systemic racism and other failures within the institutions that we are a part of. In doing so, it became clear that our community, and the Manhattan Beach Unified School District in particular, is no exception. In fact, in a survey of over 1,000 MBUSD students, alumni, and teachers, 70% of respondents said they have faced discrimination based on race, gender, sexual orientation, religion, or disability. And 88% of respondents said they've witnessed such discrimination happen to other students. This is unacceptable. It is clear that the MBUSD needs reform now. And that's why the MBUSD Community Panel for Equity, or MB4E, was formed, where a group of over 700 alumni, students, parents, staff, and community members who are pushing for tangible change in our education system. Our goal is to reform the MBUSD to be an equitable and inclusive learning environment for all students, with an urgent focus on the experiences of students who are Black, Indigenous, and people of color, or BIPOC. Our group consists of 4 committees, focused on policy, inclusion, extracurriculars, and logistics. Each of these committees has its own goals and works closely with the MBUSD School Board and teachers and admin from the elementary level through MiraCosta. Each of these committees works on different issues that aim to increase diversity, equity, and inclusion in the MBUSD. The policy committees in particular are dedicated to developing and reforming school policies. This includes working alongside the MiraCosta chapter of Diversify Our Narrative. Here's some COSTA students to tell you more.
Hi, my name is Hannah Gideon. I'm in my junior year of high school this year at MiraCosta, and I am the district lead for Diversify Our Narrative at MBUSD. The 2 main goals of our program right now are to fulfill our mandate, which requires 1 book by a person of color to be in every single grade level at Costa, and to get ethnic studies as a required class at MiraCosta High School.
Hi, my name is Jenna Ahmed, and I'm a sophomore at MiraCosta High School, as well as the Director of Outreach at Diversify Our Narrative MBUSD. The goal at Diversify Our Narrative is to add representation of people of color into our literature, history, and STEM classes. We work alongside the MB Panel of Equity's Curriculum Reform Committee with alumni, teachers, students, and administrators to diversify curriculum in our district.
We also have a number of inclusion committees, which focus on anti-sexism, anti-sexual violence, and sexual harassment reforms, as well as increasing student access to LGBTQIA+ resources and engaging in disability advocacy. Additionally, we have some committees dedicated to extracurriculars. Here's Eli, a Costa alum, to tell you more.
Hi, my name is Eli Rivas, and I'm one of the co-leads of the Extracurriculars Committee. Extracurriculars play such a vital role at MiraCosta. It's where students can express their passions and oftentimes find their closest friends. Our committee, which currently consists of the sports, Model UN, and performing arts subcommittees, is working on helping teachers, coaches, and advisors implement equity-based curriculum reform, address financial barriers students have to participate in, and create a culture and environment that is safe and inclusive. We want to make sure that whether on the field, on stage, or anywhere else these activities take place, every Mustang can get the most out of their extracurricular experience.
Finally, we have a few committees dedicated to handling the logistics side of this community panel. Hi, I'm Tuba Wessy. I'm a MiraCosta alum, and I'm one of the committee leads for MB4E. Our logistics committees are a really crucial part of this panel. They include the Finance Committee, which looks at the MBUSD budget and assesses the potential cost for proposed reforms. Our Data Collection Committee ran the survey you saw at the beginning of this video, which reached over 1,000 MBUSD students, alumni, and teachers, and collected really vital information on racism, discrimination, and harassment in the MBUSD. And finally, our PR and media committees handle the public-facing side of this panel, which includes running our social media accounts, handling press inquiries, and making graphics and materials like this video. If you'd like to get involved with MB4E, there are a number of ways to do so. You can join our private internal groups, which include a Facebook group and a Slack channel, or you can follow us on social media at MB Panel for Equity on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter to keep up with what we're doing and what's happening in our community. We hope you'll join us in the fight for change, which starts right here at home.